Woman lost it over one word at lunch.
Guys don't want girlfriends, they want mothers.
What types of guys are these women dating? It's really beginning to seem like all of the women that make statements like this are all dating the exact same type of guy and assuming the rest of the male population is the same.
They don't want you to be their partner, they want you to be their mommy.
Wouldn't it be nice if some of these women develop better taste than men? Because just a friendly reminder, you ladies are the ones choosing these men.
They want you to cook for them, clean up after them, babysit their emotions, help them grow up and mature. His homeboy will literally tell you, I really hope you can make him more mature.
And yet they hear that and they still decide to date him.
Bitch, that is not our job. I don't need you sucking the life out of me. I got shit to do. And as a matter of fact, because you want all this from me, I need a personal assistant. So girls, get him to have your morning brew ready at 6 a.m. Okay? Get him to take you places. Get him to drop you off and pick you up and everything.
Let's take a note here. Some of these ladies are expecting the immature, irresponsible men that they have chosen to date to start acting in a responsible manner just because they're in a relationship. Yeah, okay, the delusion is real.
You should be carrying my Chanel. You should be taking off my ballet flats for me. My socks better be in the wash. These men, these boys, they want to request everything from us. And they want to split the check now on top of it. Please. Girls, no more compromising, no more free labor, no more babysitting, no more mothering. Get yourself a personal assistant.
I have an even better idea. Instead of dating the same types of guys over and over again that don't treat you very well, how about some ladies out there raise their standards? Of course, then they would have to stop complaining.
Yes, we want mothers. We want mothers for our children. This is not about us. We already sacrifice much to build a family.
Here you go, baby.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, his name is Don.
Oh, I call everybody baby, honey.
Yeah, I understand that, but his name is Don.
I'm sorry, I call everybody baby.
It's no big deal.
You mean to tell me your ass that insecure that you worried about this older lady calling him baby? I ain't gonna lie. I like how that old lady did, baby. She stood on her 10, baby. I said, baby. I call him what, baby? Girl, grow up. Don't nobody want your man. And, baby, if you know you got him and you know you that girl, why do you give a damn what that old lady said? Girl, grow the hell up and get you some goddamn confidence. Because ain't nan woman gonna make me feel any type of way. Because, baby, if he gonna go regardless. Without somebody calling him baby.
That lady continued to say baby and then hit the girl with a honey. She was okay with her calling her honey. Insecurity final boss. Imagine correcting a 70-year-old because you're afraid she's after your man. Being called baby by an older lady is like comfort food. Everybody likes it. In the South, a lot of people say baby or honey or darling, especially the older generation. It's normal. Definitely not flirting, just being friendly.
So here's why I don't date men that I'm typically not attracted to. You know how you think like, I can't be the only one. You meet somebody and you kind of like their personality and you're like, well, maybe I could learn to be attracted to them. That never works out. And I'll tell you why. It's because these guys do not have the right confidence level. And I have never been so sure about something in my entire life, and this happens every time. So I was talking to this guy. I like the idea of him, but I'm not attracted to him. And you know, you can't just say that to somebody. That's just rude. We've talked about hanging out. Like, it's been several months where I've kind of just brushed the idea of the two of us being a thing off and told him I'm dating other people, I'm busy with work. And then he basically just said like, well, hey, like, I enjoy you. We could just go out and have dinner. I'd love to buy you dinner and just be friends. And I was like, yes, this is the situation that I think is the appropriate situation. Like, we'd be good friends. I said, yes, like, we're totally going to do that. And he's been out of town, then I was out of town. And all of a sudden it starts morphing into, when are we going on our date? And then from when are we going on our date, it starts morphing into a highly suggestive pattern of him talking about things that he shouldn't be talking about as if it's a given. Things that couples do. I'll just say, I'm trying to be friendly for the audience on this app. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, you don't know me. You've never even met me. Like, we haven't gone out yet. Do not get it twisted. And it's not that he's so confident that it will happen. It's like he's so not confident that he feels like he has to keep gaming it and saying it to convince me that that's the eventual only path of reality. You know what I mean? I hate it. Like, I hate when people overstep and are too familiar with me. And I told him, and I didn't say it in a pissy way. I just said it like, the pressure tactic is not cool. Now he is super butthurt. And that is, he's got too fragile of an ego because he doesn't have the confidence that he should have. If there's one thing that I know about myself, it's that I'm way more attracted to confidence than I am to like traditional good looks. That one is out. We've been going back and forth for like 3 months, and I'm done with that one. I'm back on the guy that I've been seeing like since February. We just had lunch together, and I know it's the wrong one, but he's less wrong than that one.
She is not attracted to him because he lacked confidence. You aren't doing him any favors by being overly nice. He doesn't want to be friends. He wants one-on-one time to see what happens. Be honest and let him move on to someone else who is attracted to him. Don't lead someone on if you're not attracted to them. You knew he was interested in you. You knew you were not attracted to him. You end the relationship and stop any and all forms of communication.
What's it like to be single and dating in your 30s? Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you asked, let me tell you. So I've been seeing this guy for a few weeks, but I've known him for a while now. We haven't had like the what are we doing conversation yet, but we're having so much fun together. He has been whining and dining me. We have been going out and doing things. Like, he's always adamant that I know that it's not just about sex for him. Plus, like, we talk every day, we text, we call, like, for all intents and purposes, we are dating. So yesterday, he decides to come into the bar that I work at to visit me. So he's sitting there by himself, and this group of girls walks in, and of course they sit right next to him. And they are shameless in making their move. And I get it, because he's successful, he's attractive, he is very comfortable by himself. Like, these are all very attractive qualities. Plus, like, it's kind of fun when other girls are hitting on your man, because you're just like, yeah, like, I know he's a catch. But then it got kind of like not fun. They were getting a little too touchy, and the conversations were getting a little too deep. And mind you, I'm working, so I'm like half paying attention, but mostly like making drinks and taking care of my other guests. So finally this group of girls leaves, and then he's like, I should go home. And I'm just like, yeah, you probably should. But then another group of girls come in, and of course they sit right next to him too. Once again, they start shooting their shot. Kind of over the whole game at this point, and once again, it just gets to be too much. So long story short, I literally watched this man leave the bar with another woman. Never felt so small and disrespected, because literally I'm working. So I'm wearing this ugly ass uniform. I'm doing my job. I'm getting paid to take care of him and these girls. I'm not a jealous person, and I know that we haven't had that conversation yet of like, what is this? But also, like, if you're gonna do that, don't do it at my place of work while I'm literally there. Anyway, haven't heard from him since. Probably won't ever hear from him again, because I think he probably knows that if he reaches out to me, like, I'm probably gonna go off on him. So anyway, that's basically what it's like.
Game's the game, I guess. When you are not exclusive, then he's free to do as he wishes, even if it's in front of you. I genuinely don't understand this. If you guys weren't exclusive, why does it matter if it's in front of you or not? Obviously, you didn't like it, so it's over. But if boundaries weren't communicated, how is he supposed to know?
Okay, you think you have a terrible dating story? I have told this dating story to like 10 of my friends, and every single one has said that is the worst date they've ever heard of in their life. So please sit down, buckle up. I'm going to take you on this journey with me from start to finish on how this date went. All right, I met this guy on a dating app, as one does. I stopped dating for a little bit. I jumped into it way too soon after my divorce, and now I'm kind of like slowly dipping my toe back into it, just, you know, getting a feel for it again. So this was the very first date I had been on in a while. So as we met, dating app, no problem. We start texting. We have good conversations, no problem. And then he's like, hey, I'm gonna go to like a bar hopping on Saturday. Would you like to come? Now he knows I don't drink, right? And I'm thinking, you know, like, I'm down for a fun time. I'm a fun person. I can have a good time without drinking. Sure, let's go. Then I think about it and I'm like, wait, I don't drink. I don't know any of your friends. Like, this is too much. I'm overwhelmed already. So I told him, no, I'm actually gonna go do something else on Saturday. And he's like, that's fine, totally get it. And he's like, what are you doing Friday? There's a comedy show Friday in town. Like, do you want to go? And I was like, I love a good comedy show. Yes, I would love to go. And he's like, you want to do dinner before? And I was like, yes, let's do dinner before. I go meet him at the restaurant. I don't want him to pick me up. I don't want to meet him anywhere else. We're going to go straight to the restaurant. So off to the restaurant I go. I get there pretty damn early because I think traffic is going to be a nightmare. Turns out it was not. So I'm there like 20 minutes early. It is packed with people. So I text him and said, hey, it's packed here. I'm just going to go put our names down. It's probably going to be a while. And he's like, no problem. I'll be there in 15 minutes. I said, that's no problem. I know I'm early. Like, take your time. All right. I go to sit down. I'm sitting by the door and I'm like, hey, like I'm here. I'm by the door. Just look for the red hair. Great. He's like, I just parked. I'll be right in. Comes in. Looks nothing like what he said he was going to look like. His picture's nothing like it. And I'm thinking, am I attracted to this man? No, not anymore. But looks aren't everything, Chantel. Be the bigger person. So I'm like, you know what? It was like we had a good conversation. We had a fun personality. Like, okay. So we could talk. We actually have a good dinner. Like, there was nothing wrong during dinner. Now, if we just left at dinner, I would probably like do another date with this person. But we have a comedy show to get through, and boy, does it go downhill. Okay, so we're leaving the restaurant, and he's like, parking over there is kind of difficult. Do you mind if we just drive over? It's a couple blocks away. And I think that's no problem. It's a couple blocks away. If like I choose not to drive back with him, like it's a couple blocks away. I could easily like Uber or something, or even probably walk. So I said, that's no problem. He's like, I'll drive. And I was like, great, fantastic. So I leave my car at the restaurant, get into his car. I'm looking through, like, he has like a bunch of hats, and I start like looking through his hats, seeing what they are. There's a MAGA hat. Red flag number one. MAGA and we are very opposite. No. And he's like, I was like, oh, I'm kind of judging you because of this. And he said, oh, my buddy got that for me. It's just like as a joke. Like, it's just in here just because it's in here. Bro, it's in like this rotation of like your 5 other hats that are in here. It is not just like one that your buddy got you and you thought it was a prank gift and you put it in your bedroom. No, it's literally in your hat rotation. So we get to the comedy show, park, which I'm so glad we took one car because parking was absolutely insane there. And he's like, I don't know what security is going to be like. I'm going to leave this in here. And it was a pocket knife. And I was like, oh, that's probably a really good idea. I carry a pocket knife with me at all times. And I was like, I'm going to leave this here too. So I put it in his center console. Then he lifts the center console entirely. And there's like this hidden compartment underneath there. And there's a safe. And my first idea was like, that's a little extreme for a pocket knife. No, he has a firearm on him. He's had it this whole time. I had no idea he had a gun on him. Puts that in the safe. And I was like, do you always carry a gun on you? And he's like, yeah, pretty much. Bro, you're going on a date with a girl you've never met and you brought a freaking firearm. We're going to a freaking public restaurant. And like, are you serious? On a Friday night. It's busy, okay? You're gonna be fine, I swear. And then I was just like, wait, why is he carrying a firearm? He's not even like a police officer. He's not in the military. Like, why do you need a firearm on you at all times? I just think, okay, this is America. All right. So we start walking to the show and I was like, hey, do you care if I take some cannabis? I have some cannabis on me because I think a comedy show with cannabis is amazing. I will laugh so hard at every joke. So he's like, no, not at all. And I was like, fantastic. Go to the line, and I could feel it kind of start kicking in. And then he starts talking about sex stuff, but specifically butt stuff and what I'm into. In line, in public, and he is not a quiet person. And I'm just thinking, oh my God, I'm not having this conversation. Are you serious? We're not having this conversation right now. Cannabis is kicking in. And I'm like, okay, you know what? It's a comedy show. I don't have to talk, right? And then he was like, what are you thinking? Like, I would just kind of like not pay attention at times, and he'd be like, what are you thinking? And I'm like, as an event person, I think that line over there is a chaos mess. Why are there no signs over there? Those 2 employees have no idea what's going on. He was like, okay, I don't think that was the answer he was looking for, but I'm honest. He also does a thing at this time where he is just staring for long periods of time. And I will like look at him and like try to break the stare or laugh it off. And he would just be like, you're so beautiful. You're so pretty. Well, thank you. But I just wanted to tell him that you're staring at me way too much and for way too long. And the fact that you have a gun in your car is really giving off serial killer vibes. We go inside. Let's call my date Matt. Matt starts introducing himself to everyone at our table. Totally fine. But he starts introducing himself as Chris. His profile said Matt. I checked multiple times. I have been calling him Matt this entire time. What the hell is the second name all about? So I make a note in my head. I'm going to ask him about that after the show. We are not going to make a scene right now. We're not going to make this uncomfortable. Like, I'll just ask him after the show. That's fine. We're going to get an explanation about all this. All right. Show's about to start. Show starts. And immediately I realize my date is the show heckler. I am not only sitting next to the show heckler, I came with the show heckler. He has something to say after every joke. And some of those things that he has to say need a full conversation with them. So sometimes after a joke, he'd be like, huh, I would do that. Huh, that's me in bed. And then he would start like asking me questions and wanting to have a full conversation about whatever the joke was. So then I'm missing the set for the next joke. I am here for the show, buddy, not here for your little banter, okay? So then he sees his friend across from us in the show, and he texts his friend that, like, we're there, and then he's like, that's my friend, like, he's, like, a really cool guy, and then he starts showing me his friend's Facebook page, and I was like, oh, okay, this is middle show, by the way, we're mid-show, and I'm like, oh, okay, and then he keeps scrolling and scrolling through this guy's Facebook page, who I have no idea who this is, but he's showing me his buddy. There were multiple times during that show when I just looked down and I'm just like, this is not happening. Not happening. It's happening. So I also think during the show, okay, if I do not drive back with him to my car, I could ask the bartender for a ride. Our cocktail waitress was super cool. Maybe she'll help a girl out. You know, I could always Uber. Maybe I can even just walk it. Like, I'm going to get back to my car safe. But then I was like, Chantal, you're overreacting. Like, you're really overreacting. You need to calm it down. In hindsight, I was not overreacting. Okay, show ends. His buddy, whose Facebook page I saw, comes over, says, hi, Chris. And I'm just like, oh yeah, I need to ask him about that, why he gave me a different name. And then at the same time, right after that, I was like, I don't care. I actually do not care why he gave me a different name. I really don't give a crap, because after this, I am never talking to this human being again. And like the true idiot that I am, I get into his car and I think he's got my pocket knife, and I actually really don't want to deal with having to get some kind of ride to my car. So this is the easiest route, and I am just going to be the people pleaser that I am. I'm just going to take it. So he does take a different way to my car than what I knew. And there was a moment when I'm sitting in his car where I was like, I think he's kidnapping me. I don't think he's taking me to my car. Turns out he was taking me to a car. Thank God. And then he leans in for one awkward kiss and tells me, I would really like to see you again. And I say, maybe. I get into my car, speed out of there. I have decided I am never seeing this person again in my life. I call my best friend on the way home, give her the whole spiel, and she's like, you need to block him and delete him on everything. And I was like, I'm just gonna let him down nicely and like not hurt his feelings that bad, and I'm not gonna ghost him. And she's like, you need to block and delete. So I was really gonna let him down nicely, but everyone I've told the story to is like, you need to block and delete immediately. So that's what I did. That has been the worst date I have ever been on in my life, and it just felt like it was never going to end. So thanks for joining me. Be safe out there, especially my ladies. Like, it is crazy.
Imagine him telling the story. Probably the worst date of his life. He's probably not as bad as you think, but definitely not for you. That is not the worst date, but yes, protect yourself. The firearm could have been for protection. The name could have been his way of protecting himself until he felt comfortable. Nothing wrong with MAGA, and so he heckles. Everyone has flaws. That wouldn't even make top 10. You two just aren't similar or compatible. Liking Trump and having a firearm and being a heckler don't make him awful.
Ever go on a date so bad that talking to your friends about it isn't enough and you have to share it with the internet? Hi, I'm Haley and this is my story. I never talk about things as personal on my account, so like, lock in, don't get used to it. So not yesterday, the Saturday before that, I went to a bar with a friend, and I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, I looked good as fuck, okay? Like, best I ever looked. Pretty early on at the bar, this guy taps me on the back and he goes, if my friend wasn't gay, would you smash? And I'm like, you know, actually maybe. Like, he was cute. I'm still a little hesitant. I'm like that though. You know, I'm just sussed out about men, meeting men, talking to men, men existing in general. I do end up spending the entire night with that guy. I really liked him. I felt like there was an even exchange of conversation. I was asking him questions. He was asking me questions. We were kissing, like we were holding hands. I mean, it felt like a really nice vibe. The word my friend used to describe what was happening was canoodling, heavy canoodling, and it's true. The caveat, though, is I was super drunk. Remember, I'm celebrating my birthday. He was 100% sober. dead ass sober. The next day he messages me and asks me if I want to either get coffee or gelato because, you know, sober things, get to know each other sober, whatever. I'm super down with that. I'm like, yes, we share our schedules, whatever, and that's it. It's planned. And me being the Scorpio that I am, I can't wait a few days to find out more about you. I need to find out information now. So I saw he had some reposts on IG. So I look at the reposts because I feel like that's a good way to get to know someone or like what they're about. So I start off, there's like a lot of anti-MAGA posts and I'm like, oh, okay, nice. Like, cool. Then I see some fat phobic reposts. Then I see some downright like red pill dating ass shit repost. And then the icing on the cake, there's a Andrew Tate repost in there. I am unbelievably flabbergasted. This does not seem like the person who I spent that night with. I am just shocked, honestly, and I'm not sure if I want to go on the date. I mean, I don't want to go on the date anymore. But I'm like, you know, it feels so mismatched from who I thought I met that I'm gonna give him a chance to explain himself and just like see what he says. So I send him a very polite, diplomatic, just like, hey, I saw this. How do you feel about this type of content? Because like, I don't fuck with it. He clearly used ChatGPT. And the response was honestly not superb. He said some really funny line about, I believe in egalitarianism, personal autonomy, and I value every virtue or something. I'm like, okay, it's you use ChatGPT, whatever. And then he's like, I would love to talk about this in person so that nothing gets whatever. Let's talk about this in person. And I'm like, okay, sure. I'll still meet up with you and we can talk about it in person. Already giving way too much benefit of the doubt because at this point my intuition is like, there is no way in hell, but I still did it. So we go on the date last night, if you can even call it that. He picks me up. He's super prompt. That's great. Comes out of the car, opens my car door for me. Also super great. Dressed up, really nice. That's really great. I get in the car. The man is silent. I think he asked me one question, how was your week? Which it was my birthday. So I'm like, oh, I did this, this, and this. But he's not really saying anything. So I'm like trying to fill the dead air basically. And so it's pretty silent on the drive to the date. And finally, at one point, I ask him, haha, do you not like me? I was so confused. He wasn't talking. And he's like, oh, haha, no, there's just a lot on my mind. And I'm like, a lot on your mind about the Andrew Tate thing? I didn't say this, but in my head, I'm like, is it because I sent you that message? Is it because you're dressed up so nice and I'm like less dressed up? Like, I'm like, what could be on your mind to make you silent in this car ride? We park, get out of the car, and I'm like, so what's on your mind? And he's like, oh, work. It's just work. I'm like, okay. And then the rest of the time, he proceeds to not talk to me. Doesn't ask me a single question. He's like, you're really different sober than you were drunk. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, can you elaborate? Like, what was I doing? He's like, well, you were super talkative. You were just basically asking me a lot of questions. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, that makes sense. People typically are more chatty when they're drunk. But I do not remember me just asking you a bunch of questions. And also, if this is a date, don't you want to like get to know me? Like, don't you want to like ask me questions? Like, don't you want to talk? And he's like, no, I'm typically more surface level. I like to just go off of vibes and let things flow naturally. And I'm like, nothing's gonna flow naturally. We're literally just sitting here in chairs sharing a bottle of wine. He decided he wanted to drink last night for some reason. I don't know if he was nervous or if he thought that would make me the same drunk person that I was. I don't know. Super weird. And I'm not weird, you guys, okay? I know how to have a conversation, ask questions, but I wasn't like, I wasn't really interested in asking questions to someone who seemed like they were so uninterested in me. You know, he expected me to carry this conversation. I was turned off by that. Plus, like, are you going to bring up the Andrew Tate thing? Are you really going to make me bring it up again? Like, you're the one who wanted to talk about it in person. And so I tell him again, I'm like, you have to ask me questions or we're going to sit here in silence. And he's like, okay, well, I don't know. Let me think. What do I want to ask you? He literally told me he had to think about what he wanted to ask me. And he goes, so what are your goals? I'm like, it's giving job interview, but sure, I'll tell you my goals. So then we talked about goals. And then he goes, oh, I did want to ask you something. How do you feel about not working? Basically, like, asking me, like, if we were in a, like, married or something, I guess, like, would you be down to just stay home? And I'm like, oh, okay, I mean, it was a question. You did ask a question, a very weird one, in a weird timed way. So he drops me off at home, and I'm like, that was a one-timer. That was a one-timer. We never talked about the Andrew Tate thing, by the way. Never came up because we barely talked at all in general. Sends me a message today. It's so unbelievable. It's so unbelievable. This guy thought I was gonna get in the car and go eat ice cream with him and interview him. And didn't care to ask me anything. There were so many opportunities. You know, I was to the thing where he's like asking me if I'd want to stay at home. I'm like, well, you know, maybe, but then I'd want to focus on my passions or, you know, like, ask me what I'm passionate about. I mean, there's a million things you could have asked me. Oh my God, it was just, I'm like, you know, maybe being single forever sounds pretty good because I am not. I never want to waste a night like that in my entire life again. Horrible.
I think he prefers conversation that flows without pressure to ask question after question after question, whereas you like a person showing intrigue through more direct asking. Sounds like he'd built up a version of you from the first encounter and expected you to be the exact same sober also, which is a pickle because most people are different when they're intoxicated.